Queen had a real knack for writing music that was creative and progressive, and yet still relatable and accessible. And this was 100% the case with their key changes. When they put a key change into a song, it wasn't to add complexity for complexity's sake, it was to contribute to the song's themes and character. When Queen used a key change, it wasn't just for the hell of it. Their key changes would always complement the theme and mood of the song. A great example of this thematically thoughtful key changing is We Are the Champions. We Are the Champions opens in the key of C minor and then quickly shifts to the relative major of E flat major.
But committed no crime and bad mistakes.
However, the key change I want to talk about comes as we're just about to enter the chorus. For every chorus of We Are the Champions, we get this abrupt modulation up a tone from E flat major to the key of F major. Shifting key up a tone is a classic way to inject energy and excitement into a song, and here it works perfectly to complement and highlight the lyrics and theme of the song. What better way to make us feel like we are champions, what better way to make us feel a sense of victory and success than to suddenly lift us up into a new key centre for the chorus. Queen didn't have to put this key change here at all. They easily could have kept the verse and chorus in the same key, and this would have been the easier and more intuitive thing to do.
But I've come through. I need to go home. We are the champions, my friend.
However, as you can hear, although this technically works, it lacks that boost, that uplift in energy that comes with the key change up to F major. A similar key change that once again ties in beautifully with the theme of the song is The Show Must Go On. The first verse and chorus of The Show Must Go On is in the key of B minor.
Empty spaces, what are we living for?
However, as we enter the second verse, the key suddenly jumps up a tone to C sharp minor.
Still stays on. Whatever happens, I leave it on.
For me, this key change perfectly illustrates the sense of soldiering on, of determination, continuing on your journey despite everything holding you back. Just like with the previous example, Queen really didn't need to put this key change here. They easily could have kept the second verse in the same key as the first verse. Changing key for your second verse is quite an unusual thing to do, and the song would have worked perfectly well staying in the same key throughout.
Still stays on. Whatever happens, I leave it all to chance.
But by including this key change, it adds more character and emotion to the song. Under Pressure also uses a key change to inject a sense of momentum and determination. The song is largely in the key of D major. However, after the second chorus, we pivot into the key of G major.
Turned away from it all like a blind man.
This change to G major has a sense of becoming more closed in and quiet. Relatively speaking, G major is a slightly darker key compared to D major, so we get this feeling of things moving down a gear as we enter this bridge. But this is exactly why this key change is so good. Not only does this change to G major play perfectly into the more somber, reflective mood of the bridge, but by shifting down to the key of G major, it means that at the end of the bridge, we can triumphantly and energetically modulate back up to the original key of D major. Just as Freddie is singing about giving ourselves one more chance, the music illustrates this by giving us this sense of elevation and energy. This song could have stayed in the key of D major throughout. The bridge could have been written to stay in the key of D major. But without this momentary departure from the key of D major, we wouldn't get that sense of contrast, that sense of journey, of development and change. One of Queen's most intriguing and well-woven key changes is found in Killer Queen. Killer Queen opens modestly in the key of C minor, but soon shifts to the relative major of E flat major. However, the real key changing is found in the chorus. As we enter the chorus, we find ourselves modulating up a fifth to the key of B flat major.
Caviar, cigarettes, well-versed in etiquette, extraordinarily nice. She's a killer queen.
Despite E flat major and B flat major being a fifth apart, this change doesn't actually feel particularly stark or jarring. This is because, despite a fifth sounding like a large distance in music, it's actually a very close relationship. Keys that are a fifth away from each other have all but one note in common. E flat major and B flat major have every single note the same apart from one, A. In E flat major we get an A flat, and in B flat major we get an A natural. So we can modulate between keys that are a fifth apart quite smoothly because most of their notes will work together. But Killer Queen isn't done changing key yet. Before the chorus is even over, we get yet another shift up a fifth, now to the key of F major. Once again, this is a very closely related key. F major and B flat major have all but one note in common. This time it's the E that's the difference. B flat has an E flat, and F major has an E natural. So far in the chorus we've jumped up a fifth and then another fifth. So effectively these key changes are taking us step by step around the circle of fifths. We've gone from the key of E flat major to B flat major and then F major. And although Killer Queen's key changing doesn't reflect the song's lyrics and themes as closely as the other examples we've looked at today, I do think that this classical-esque chain of key changes contributes to the song's grand and regal sound. Not to mention, I do like the fact that after this sudden chain of key changes, we then get a lyric about never keeping the same address.
To avoid complications, she never kept the same address.
The way that Killer Queen shifts key around the circle of fifths is quite similar to the way that Bohemian Rhapsody changes key. Bohemian Rhapsody changes key at least 8 times across its 6-minute duration, and for a full breakdown of all of that you can check out my short analysis of Bohemian Rhapsody video that I did a few years ago. But the key change that I want to draw attention to today is the one we get right at the end of Bohemian Rhapsody. Despite the many key changes throughout this song, during the last quarter of its runtime, we actually stay fairly statically in the key of E flat major. However, just as the song comes to a close, we get this piano figure that guides us to the final line of the song. And this timeless piano line smoothly and gently modulates us from E flat major, then to B flat major, and then finally landing down in a key that we've not visited yet so far in the song, F major.
To me.
This key change is so smooth and efficient because just like Killer Queen, we're moving around the circle of fifths, we're changing key by a fifth each time. This means that with each key change we're only having to introduce one new note to the scale, minimising any friction between the old key and the destination key. And why I think this moment is so beautiful, and also why I think this is one of my favourite moments in all of recorded music, is how perfectly these key changes match the themes and emotion of the song. Throughout this song, the protagonist has been fighting to find where they belong, desperately trying to figure out who they are and where they can fit in. And although Bohemian Rhapsody has visited various key centres during its journey, E flat major, B flat major, A major, it's only here at the very end that we're lifted up into a brand new key centre, F major. And this is where our song can finally resolve, where the story of Bohemian Rhapsody can finally conclude. These 5 songs we've looked at today are far from the only examples of Queen changing key, so if you can think of another example then do leave it in the comments down below. Also, if you're interested in how this video was made, I've actually put together a behind the scenes vlog following the creation of this video from scripting to publishing. It's currently available on my second channel. The link's in the description. And as always, a massive thanks goes to everyone who supports me on Patreon, including the names you see on screen right now, and Andre Sainz Diaja, Andy Deacon, Andrew Sussman, Austin Barrett, Austin Russell, Bob McKinstry, Boo Medell, Whitney Parker, Cameron Orvilla, Colin Aiken, Chris Cabal, Christopher Ryan, David Bennett is hot, David Rivers, Donald Howard, Dr. Darren Wicks, Elena Skorchenko, Eugene Leroy, FD Hodor, Greg Kabowski, Ilamola Toner, Hamish Brocklebank, Hernick Kutcher, Hugo Miller, Ivan Pang, Jake Fisher, J.A. Hookensparger, John Dye, Josh Sanderlin, Justin Vigor, Mark Saitera, Mark Ziegenhagen, Max O'Keefe, Melody Composer Squared, Melanie Schonert, Michael Vivian, Nathan Lawrence, Nathaniel Park, Nick Chang, Paul Middleton, Paul Muller, Paul Pazel, Peter Dunphy, Richard Gride, Roger Clay, Sadia Carone, John Kennedy, Steve Daly, Stephen Lazaro, Tim Beaker, Trisha Adams, Tim Payne, Victor Levy, Vidad Flowers, Vladimir Kodakov, Volti, Wash Shake Fest, Waylon Fairbanks, and Zaphod.